The Kids Who Hacked the CIA, the true story of crackers with attitude. It's a cold day in October 2015. In a high-security office in Washington, D.C., a man is sitting at his desk going through classified files. His name, John Brennan. His job, director of the CIA, the boss of America's spy world. His private phone rings. This number is supposed to be secret family, a few friends, a small circle of trusted people. "Hello, John Brennan speaking." On the other end, a young voice, casual, cocky. "Yo, guess who owns your phone now?" Brennan freezes for a second. This could sound like a prank if he wasn't one of the most protected people on the planet. "Who is this? How did you get this number?" The voice laughs. "It was easy, bro. You really need better security." What Brennan doesn't know yet is this. The person talking to him isn't a Russian agent, isn't a veteran hacker in his 40s, isn't some foreign spy chief. It's a 15-year-old kid, sitting in a bedroom in the UK, a little high, a little bored, and very, very angry. And this call? This isn't just a prank. This is the first domino in a chain reaction that will embarrass the CIA, the FBI, and the U.S. Department of Justice. This is the story of the kids who hacked the CIA. Before this CIA chaos, our story starts with another kid. We're in the U.S. around 2008. A pretty normal teenager, football, video games, a pet dog, nothing special on the surface. Online, he goes by the name Default. At first, it's small stuff, game cheats, modding, messing with settings. Then one day, Default asks himself, is it more fun to break the rules inside a game or in the real world? He starts poking small targets, random websites, school systems, little just testing hacks. Then he discovers a new universe, Anonymous, the famous online collective that targets governments and corporations. Default manages to get into their chats. He's not leading anything, but he's close enough to watch. How people take websites down, how they plan attacks, how they talk about justice and chaos in the same sentence. After a few years, though, Anonymous starts to feel messy to him. Too many informants, too many egos, too much drama, not enough focus. So he drifts into smaller offshoot groups, more technical, less noise. And then he gets access to a system that changes everything, a Canadian university's financial database. Inside, he finds student loan records, names, amounts, account info. On his screen, the total debt is in the millions, and somewhere in the admin panel, a little button might as well be glowing, "Delete all." Default sits there thinking, these people are probably going to pay this off their entire lives. If I delete this, I could reset everything for them. He could sell the data, he could blackmail someone, he could leak it. Instead, he clicks, and the records are gone. In his mind, this is his Robin Hood moment. In the eyes of the law, this is a serious crime. But this is where his pattern starts. Default only feels truly alive when he believes, I'm doing something wrong for the right reasons. Around 2014, Default hears about something darker. Reports of dog brothels in Denmark, places where people pay to sexually abuse animals. Animal rights groups are screaming about it. Some European countries have banned it, but Denmark has a loophole. The world shrugs. Default is furious. He has a dog. This hits a nerve. Imagine someone taking your dog and using it for this. How do you sleep at night? He links up with hacktivists and anonymous-style groups, and they start going after Danish government sites, tourism portals, and forums involved in animal abuse. They know deface websites, post messages shaming the government, take services offline. All of this is illegal, but the motive is activism. And somehow the pressure works. The media picks it up. The government feels the heat. Eventually, Denmark bans bestiality and closes that loophole. Default's confidence hits a new level. Hacking isn't just crime, it's a weapon. If the cause is right, I'm the good guy. This is a dangerous mindset, because in hacking, you are the one who decides what right means, and that line can slide. Around the same era, the name Edward Snowden explodes everywhere. an NSA contractor who leaks documents showing just how deep U.S. mass surveillance goes, your phone, your emails, your online life, all potentially being watched. Default sits in front of his screen watching Snowden interviews, and he thinks, if they can spy on the whole world, why should I sit quiet? His mindset evolves again. This is no longer about games, loans, dogs. Now it's, people at the top deserve to feel what it's like to be spied on too. He goes full OPSEC obsessed. No more hacks from home Wi-Fi. He uses public places like a random Dairy Queen with a satellite link, full disk encryption, devices that take 30 minutes just to... At the same time, he's stacking Bitcoin early, over 1,000 BTC at one point. He knows he's making powerful enemies, but he believes his security is airtight. Spoiler, it's not. Now, let's cross the Atlantic. We're in the UK, in the West Midlands, an ordinary housing estate. In a small bedroom, a 15-year-old sits hunched over a cheap phone, hoodie on. Weed smell in the air. Online, he's known as Kraka. His motivation is different from Default's. He's obsessed with Palestine, wars in the Middle East, drone strikes, images of civilians dying. In his eyes, the U.S. government is directly responsible for innocent people being killed. His goal is simple, but not small. I want to bring a little chaos to the people who think they're untouchable. He forms a small online crew, Crackus with Attitude, CWA. The name sounds like a meme, but their targets are very real. U.S. intelligence officials, FBI staff, Department of Homeland Security Kraka isn't some top-tier coder. His real superpower is something else, social engineering. Picking up a phone, calling customer support, and lying so confidently that people hand over passwords, PINs, and internal access with a smile. And that skill is about to take him straight to the top. In 2015, news breaks. The phone of James Clapper, the Director of National Intelligence, has been messed with. Calls are being rerouted to a pro-Palestinian activist line. This prank isn't done by a spy agency. It's linked to a 15-year-old in the UK. That 15-year-old is Kraka. Default sees all this in the news, on Twitter, on hacker forums. He's impressed. Okay, this kid is actually crazy. He reaches out to Kraka, sends some respect. Nice job kind of messages. Soon, they're talking regularly. Now you've got Default, experience, activism background, paranoid about OPSEC. Kraka, fearless, insanely good at manipulating people on the phone with a loud political motive. Together, they're volatile. And now they set their sights higher. The director of the CIA, John Brennan. Here's the important twist. They didn't hack the CIA Hollywood-style no green code falling down the screen, no firewalls in 3D. Their most powerful tool was a phone and a straight face. Step 1. Recon Kraka collects information using public sources, Google, leaked databases, public records, where Brennan's phone is registered, partial social security numbers, address details enough to sound legit. Step 2. Call the phone company. He calls Verizon customer support, pretending to be either John Brennan or someone fixing Brennan's phone on site. Hey, I'm working on the line here. The client is having issues. I need to verify some details. The agent asks a few questions. Kraka answers confidently, drops just enough correct info to pass. Eventually, the agent gives him access. Account details, backup email, security information. Step 3. Take the email. With that, Kraka resets the password to Brennan's AOL email. Suddenly, on a cheap device in a teenager's bedroom, the inbox of the CIA director opens up. Inside, contact lists, personal correspondence, drafts, sensitive forms, policy documents connected to intelligence work. Step 4. Troll and threaten. Kraka reads, pokes around, and he doesn't stop there. He starts calling Brennan. He calls his family. He recites details he should not know. Reportedly, when Brennan asks, "What do you want?" Kraka hits him with, "We want you to stop bombing the Middle East and free Palestine." It's activism, anger, ego, all mixed together. Step 5. WikiLeaks. Default pushes for something bigger. Don't just tweet screenshots, send some of this to someone who can make it global. They pass the documents onwards. Soon after, WikiLeaks publishes a selection of Brennan's emails and documents, old communications, policy papers, background checks, sensitive forms. The embarrassment is huge. U.S. agencies have to adjust systems, move people, risk assess everything. For the hacker world, this is insane. A 15-year-old just broke into the CIA director's email. For the agencies, this is a wake-up call and a very expensive cleanup. Brennan is just the start. With their confidence soaring, CWA keeps going. Next targets include James Clapper, Director of National Intelligence, Jed Johnson, Homeland Security Secretary, Mark Giuliano, FBI Deputy Director, and multiple senior officials' accounts. They use the same combo: phone calls, pretending to be tech support, reset portals, browsing internal dashboards. At one point, they claim access to a Justice Department booking system, internal FBI tools. But the loudest stunt, they dump personal details online, tens of thousands of FBI agents, thousands of DHS officials, and more from the Department of Justice. Names, phone numbers, emails, all plastered across the internet. Headlines explode. Teenage hackers humiliate U.S. intelligence. Inside the hacker community, CWA becomes legend. Inside their own heads, they're at war with the system full send. No breaks. But obviously, the U.S. government isn't just watching from the sidelines. Behind the scenes, logs are analyzed, IPs are traced, VPN patterns are profiled, telecom records are pulled, social circles are mapped. In the UK, investigators eventually link Kraka to a real person, Kane Gamble, a teenager from Leicester. One morning, cybercrime officers and police raid his house, seize his devices, and arrest him. In court, the judge calls his actions a serious politically motivated cyber attack and sends him to youth detention for a couple of years. Across the ocean, default's situation is even heavier. The FBI raids his place, door kicked in, guns raised, his encrypted device finally unlocked right before the raid. They seize everything, including the hard drive with over 1,000 bitcoins on it. In the end, Default gets several years in federal prison plus restitution orders, solitary confinement, no internet. And when he finally gets out, finding regular work with a felony record is almost impossible. In interviews later, he admits, "I thought I was doing it for political justice. It took years to realize how wrong I actually was." Kraka, after serving his sentence, later moves into legitimate cybersecurity, using his skills to help companies fix vulnerabilities instead. Same talent. Different side. Up to this point, the story feels like a thriller. Kids versus the CIA, phones beating firewalls, the system embarrassed by a teenager's bedroom. But if you zoom out, this is less a flex and more a warning. Right now, hacker is an aesthetic. Hoodies, RGB lights, TikTok edits. We are anonymous masks. Discord servers full of teenagers who want to feel powerful. On the surface, it looks cool, but to the system, the line is simple. Whether you're 15 or 50, if you break into government accounts, leak personal data, or breach secure systems, you are a threat. Default and Kraka saw themselves as heroes, deleting student debt, fighting for animals, standing up for Palestine. But Brennan's family was harassed and terrified. Thousands of officials had their personal info thrown into the wild. Agencies spent serious money and time fixing the damage. For viewers online, it was content. For the people involved, it was their actual life. So if one night you're sitting at your screen and someone on Discord or Telegram says, "No rules, just skill, just kids. Let's hack something big for the lulz can be for justice." Remember, this is exactly how stories like CWA begin, and they almost always end with raids, bans, courtrooms, and years you can't rewind. Let's go back to that phone call we started with. For John Brennan, that strange 2015 call was just a few minutes of shock and anger. For the media, it was a great headline. For Kraka, it turned into years in detention for Default. It ended in prison time, lost fortune, and a permanent record. So if you ever sit at your laptop at 2 a.m. thinking, let me just try this once, just to see how far I can go. Remember these names: Default, Crackers with attitude. They proved that kids really can hack the CIA. They also proved that the system doesn't forget kids either. This was The Kids Who Hacked the CIA, the real story behind the headlines.